It may be a wee bit late, but we're here for our F1 2023 Saudi Arabian driver ratings. Now, it is only one race, but the Australian Grand Prix is right around the corner. Our busy schedules, this vid has to be done now or never. So we're going to kick off. We're going to go for the last tip first, and that's essentially, I think, the best way of doing driver ratings. Because it mixes up a bit. Because of course you get retirements and you can kind of rate them differently. But coming in at P20, of course he retired in the race. He did qualify sixth, but promoted to fifth. But for the sake of this video, because Leclerc got a 10 grid place penalty, I can't, you know, I can't. I'm not going to say, oh, they qualified 15th and then I'll move them up every time. You know, oh, they 13th, he got 9th, 8th, boom. I'm just going to say where they started, alright? So therefore, the qualification was one less, unless, of course, you start it below Charles Leclerc. But Lance Stroll, I'm going to give him a 7. Not particularly great, but it was alright. I don't know how much of the problem on the car was affecting him. Throughout the race, because he was looking good. I mean, that great move on Sainz, decent enough qualifying, but then I don't know, around the first pit stop, I know he broke down soon after it, but he lost it big time to the guys around him. And Aston Martin got a good car, can't afford to be doing that. Alexander Albon, going to give him a 6. I thought it was a bit disappointing for Albon. I mean, he retired, but or maybe the Williams just wasn't that good this weekend. I don't know. Next up with Valtteri Bottas, I'm going to give him a 1. Awful, right? Honestly, nowhere, out-qualified by his teammate, the only guy to finish a lap behind. Yes, he picked up damage, but he was fucking nowhere. And talking of nowhere, Lando Norris, I'm giving this guy a 1. Awful qualifying, hit the wall, which meant he was out. Would he have done much better? I mean, the fact Piastri did qualify quite high up, I think so, but yeah, him and Bottas both getting 1s. Not a good race by Norris. Logan Sargent, I'm going to give a 6. He was a bit unlucky in qualifying, then he finished 16th. But you know what? He's mixing with other cars. It wasn't completely horrendous for the guy, but at the same time, wasn't particularly good. Next up, we've got Oscar Piastri, qualified in the top 10, finished 15th, was a bit unlucky with the contact with Gasly. I'm going to give Oscar Piastri a 7. Next up, Nick De Vries, a kind of anonymous Grand Prix. If we're being perfectly honest, I'm just going to give him a standard 5. Guan Yu Zhou started at 11th, kind of shafted by the safety car, finished 13th. I'm going to give him a 6. Hulkenberg, again, same logic applies to him. I'm going to give him a 5. Give him a 6, fuck it. Yuki Tsunoda, I'm going to give you a 7. You know what? Second race in a row, he's been kind of hard done by. Probably should have got points. Magnussen, I'm going to give him a 7. He got points. Boom. Pierre Gasly, started 9th, finished 9th. It's no bad for Pierre Gasly. What are we going to give P Gasly? Give him a 7. Ocon, best of the rest. I'm going to give him an 8. Charles Leclerc started 12th, really good qualifying, but he only finished 7th, and for that reason, I'm going to give him a 7. The qualifying was outstanding, but I don't know how much of it's down to Ferrari's lack of pace or whatever, but I just genuinely expected more from him. Like, he had a really good first stint, and then the safety car did kind of fuck Ferrari, but the pace after was shocking. Carlos Sainz, I'm going to give another 7. I mean, maybe it's harsh considering that Leclerc did demolish him in qualifying, but I just thought Leclerc was a bit lacklustre in the race, and so was Sainz. Hamilton, like, you told me lacklustre, I gave him another 7. Started 7th, finished 5th. Nowhere near his teammate. George Russell, though, I will give George Russell an 8. Started 3rd, finished 4th, was on the podium, then wasn't on the podium, kind of shafted it in his own wee way. On to the podium places, though. Fernando Alonso, started 2nd, finished 3rd. Bit unlucky with the whole thing at the start and then the penalty getting took off him, this, that, and the other. I'm going to give Fernando Alonso an 8. People might be thinking, how you know giving him an 8? But right, or more than 8. But like, see, I see when you see other people do driver ratings, you've got to look at the car as well. Like, the Aston Martin is good this year. It's not like he's getting it in an Alpine, it'd be a 10. But, still a great drive for Alonso, and to me it shows you that he's still got it. You give him a car that's, a wee bit quicker than Mercedes and Ferrari, and he's smoking these guys who, people be like, oh, they're way better than Alonso. Alonso's mid. Seen someone say that on Instagram. Need their head looked at. Max Verstappen, car blew up in qualifying. He was nailed on for pole, man. He was like 5 times quicker the whole weekend. But you know what? he couldn't put a dent into Perez's lead. So I'm going to give Max Verstappen an 8. I've seen people like, oh, how can you not give him a 10? He started 15th. Look at the advantage the Red Bulls got, man. At a track, it's easy to overtake. And he didn't get Perez. So if he won the race and beat Perez, I'd give him a 10, but he didn't. So it's an 8 for me. As for Sergio Perez, though, got pole, bad start, but he made up for that. He won the race quite comfortably for Verstappen in the end. I'm going to give Perez a 10 because you know what? He's not going to get many 10s this season probably. So this is it. Perez gets a 10, guys. Till next time, Fog Racing signing out.